Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Tyler Joseph Andrews, and he is playing the new Theo Carver on the hit Peacock soap opera Days of Our Lives. Hi Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great and so glad we can make this happen. This is so exciting. So just to give everybody a background on how you got like your start. How'd you get your start in acting?
Yeah, I got my start in acting in Philadelphia at this
Mhm.
school called Playhouse West Philadelphia. Started training there about 6 years ago with two acting teachers, predominantly just one named Tony Savant and then another acting teacher named Ed Airstone. And I trained there for about 6 years. And then I moved out to Los Angeles about 2 years ago.
Nice. Nice. So for the role of Theo, what was your audition like for that?
Yeah, I had a couple auditions. It might have been for Theo earlier, maybe it was a test, but about 6 months prior to me actually getting the role, which was about a year ago now, I had auditioned while I was doing this movie for a role, and I went in and I actually screen tested with Ashley Puzemis, and I
Nice.
thought the audition went really well, and I called my agent and I was like, "Hey, be on the lookout for this audition that I'm going to be doing. I mean, for this audition that I just did, because I'm pretty sure I booked the role." Obviously, I didn't. It's the ones that you think you're going to get
Right.
that you end up not getting. And then about 6 months later, they had called me back in to audition for some unknown character. I didn't know that it was
Mhm.
Theo Carver. And then we had about, I think, three auditions, two with the casting director Marnie,
Okay.
and then I went in person with the producers Noel, Janet, and Marnie, and then we had read with Marissa Reyes, and we had
Nice.
auditioned a couple times there, and then ended up getting the job.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I usually am aware of a lot of characters that are coming to the show before they show up, but your
Hmm.
character actually caught me off guard. I was like, "Holy crap, I did not know Theo was coming back." That's actually pretty cool.
I always wondered if there was any foreshadowing or hinting of him coming back home before I came on the show.
It was funny because I believe that they mentioned that Theo and Claire broke up, but there was no indication that Theo was coming to Salem. There was no indication that Claire was coming to Salem. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's Claire. I don't know if Claire's been cast or not, or if it's coming back. But as of
Mhm.
now, she hasn't aired. If she is coming back, but Theo obviously is in Salem. So yeah, usually when they mention a character, you kind of know somebody's coming back or somebody's
Mhm,
going
mhm.
to be on screen. They kind of did that even with Jeremy Horton. They mentioned Jeremy Horton in the past, and then they mentioned that he's going to be coming to town next week, and then it's like, oh, now we have a character of Jeremy Horton returning to Salem.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So have you had any prior knowledge of the character of Theo Carver?
I have no. I didn't even really have much prior knowledge of the show. I mean, I've obviously heard of Days of Our Lives, like I've
Right.
heard of many of the other soap operas, but I had no idea who Theo Carver was up until I got casted, up until they actually told me who I was playing. So I made it sort of my job to go back and watch some older episodes to figure
Mhm.
out the storyline before he left the South Africa, what he was going through, the sort of person that he was, and the challenges that he had, and if anything was going to come back and continue itself when he got back from South Africa. So, yeah, I really wanted to make sure I understood what I had come from and
Mhm.
what I had gone through so I can try to portray it correctly now and
Mhm.
see where if I've evolved, because we're all changing over time. And
Right.
it's been about, I believe, 2 years since he's been back in
Yeah.
Salem. So
Yeah.
to have a talk with the directors and see, well, how has he changed
Hmm.
since he's been gone? What has he gone through, like that breakup with Claire? What did that do to him and his
Hmm.
sort of ideas and morals about life and how he reacts to certain things now? Will that change? So I tried to sort of build that to the
Right.
to the start.
Absolutely. So, did you know that Theo was on the spectrum? And if so, like how did that go into you portraying that as an actor?
Yeah. So I didn't know until it was brought up in an episode. Oh, well, I knew before. I mean, as I got casted, when I knew who Theo
Mhm.
Carver was, I obviously found out then that he was
Mhm.
on the spectrum and that he was high functioning. So yeah, that was another thing where you obviously talk with your directors
Yeah.
because you can look at what other actors do. I can look at what the other actors have done and do that same thing, but I wanted to have my own take on it.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to show behavior that was accurate towards
Mhm.
someone who is high functioning and make sure it was Theo's sort of innuendos, his way of thinking. So I had that talk with the directors of, hey, what do you want to see out of this? How should it be played? And I kind of worked with them in that way, and I think we found a sort of happy medium because of what he has just went through as well, and sort of how that might have affected that as well in
Yeah.
some certain ways towards his triggers
Yeah.
and how he reacts to those triggers. And I think it's sort of finding its way as
Mhm.
we go on, as I'm sort of finding my way as well.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because my fiance is on the spectrum high functioning,
Uh-huh.
and everything you do is what he does. So seeing that, I was like, wow, he's got that nailed down.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because yeah, as an actor, you're trying to do your job your
Right.
best you can, but you hate to get in your head and say, "Man, is this accurate?" But you
Right.
find so many people's experiences with being high functioning is
Mhm.
so different,
Yeah.
and you hear stories of people who have.
Yeah.
I mean, because you obviously start to read and
Mhm.
go into stories and find other people's lives that you can sort of
Yeah.
correlate, and you find so many people have so many different stories and different sort of triggers or way that they react to things
Right.
that's so vast that it,
Mhm.
it kind of gave me the security that I could find things that were personal and truthful for myself.
Right. And the one scene that you did that nailed it on, like I was like, he's got this down, is you were in the pub. I believe you were with you might have been with Billy Flynn, and you were just talking, and you did something with your eyes. Like
Hmm.
I don't remember if you looked up or like the way you were when you were talking, the way you did something like that. Like I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
well, that was pretty early on too. So I know
It
I was
was.
testing a lot of things too.
Yeah.
I was throwing in some ideas.
Yep.
So some things I don't quite remember what I was
Mhm.
thinking or what the option was, but I'm glad that you actually recognize some of those things.
Yeah.
It helps me feel a little bit more confident. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I'm doing my job a little bit.
Yeah, when I first interviewed Sherry Jimenez,
Mhm.
she because me and her became good friends, and when I first interviewed her, it's been almost a year now, and we've been planning our next interview since May, but
Yeah.
schedules are just not working on either
Uh-huh.
side, and we're still talking, and she's like, I promise you by the end of the year, but she said that even when she first started, like it was like it's like you're not gonna get. She's still getting into the swing of things as Gabby, and then but she's like, I promise you, the more it airs, you'll see the
Yeah.
improvements, the way I'm starting to speak as Gabby, the way I'm starting to act like Gabby, and the same thing with you because I mean you had no knowledge of Theo, so you just started, so now you're as you're developing because you literally have only been on the show. I mean you've been filming for a while, but you've been
Mhm.
on the show what, a couple of weeks, maybe a
Yeah.
month, give or take, because you filmed so far in advance.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Which is a question that I've never asked anybody from Days of Our Lives. I had a couple of people on. I had Carson Boatman. I had a couple of people on, and one question I've never asked, and I wanted to save this one for you when I had you on. I'm like, I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for an interview without because you film so far in advance, 9 months, 10 months, whatever it is. How do you prepare for an interview to not leak or spoil anything that hasn't already been aired?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's interesting. Obviously, I think the obvious answer would be that I have, I have my family members watching this show on a daily
Mhm.
basis. Yeah, they're just big supporters of me. So my dad My mom had been letting me kind of know when they've been watching me, and they trying to let me know, hey, this episode came on, so I know where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it feels like yesterday when I filmed those things, even though there's so
Yeah.
much that we film,
Yeah.
and we are very far ahead of things. It feels just like yesterday when I was doing that stuff with Casey,
Mm-hmm.
or when I was in the bar with Billy.
Yeah.
So I remember it really well on where we are now and exactly what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was just because I was so like I still am. I'm so excited to be there, but that was like my first couple weeks, so I was like taking
Mm-hmm.
in the whole atmosphere as well. So that's really ingrained in my memory those first couple of months,
Right.
especially. So I remember where we are, and I kind of just, if you ask me something and I know, well, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can kind of leave an open-ended
Right.
answer and then leave it up to the audience to wonder what's going on. It's sort
And
of
a
that.
lot of my questions are worded that way cryptically, and I've done that ever since with Carson Boatman because I knew he actually was on my show before he even started airing on the show.
Oh,
He was
really?
cast and he was actually about to come on the show, I think within a week, and we were promoting him actually debuting, which was really
Mm-hmm.
cool. And we before the interview we had to like really think how are we going to word this, and I had to tell him like the questions I had just so he knew because he didn't want to obviously let anything leak, especially
Yeah.
being new to the show. So that
Mm-hmm.
was very so I had that a lot. Sorry, my cat loves laptops and he just came
No, it's
outside.
okay. Yeah, I used to have a cat. Just did the same thing.
So this question I do have is a very serious type of question. And it just started airing. I actually had it worded a different way. The last time we were scheduled to have in a meeting, have the interview, and I changed it a little bit with the way the story went. It does involve the JJ Devereaux situation because
Mm-hmm.
it recently aired. Was it last week, I believe? In the scene with JJ about racial profiling, and that's a big it's serious, but it happens worldwide. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
see this happen a lot. So what does it mean for you to have this storyline play out the way it has and is with JJ, the racial profiling, the PTSD, all of these serious conditions and serious things that happen in the world, and you have the responsibility to portray it, accurately. You know what I mean? So what does that mean to you, and how do you like prepare for that?
Yeah, that's really interesting too. And I'll try and leave this open ended. I'm not sure how far we've gotten with the resolution to that. I know
I
that
can
we've
let you
seen that
know
happen.
that what just aired was JJ going to Jada. This was a couple days ago, and he just met with the counselor. So
Yep,
that's
yep,
what
yep,
just
yep.
aired. And
Okay.
the last thing with you was the blackout and all that, and that was kind of where we left off there.
Yeah, that was hard. That was difficult stuff too. Thank God that me and Casey are such good friends,
Hmm.
and we get along so well. So we could really like freely rehearse it and sort of try to explore it because it was difficult for him too,
Hmm.
because it happened sort of so fast when I got back in, and it's a continuation of something that happened in the past. So
Hmm.
it was like sort of working with Casey to figure out what was the situation before and how did that go on and what's the similarities of that. And when you film those things, they're always like awkward. They're always
Yeah.
awkward because, especially even more when you like the person, and you
Yeah.
hate to yell at someone that you really
Right.
like and that doesn't actually feel this way about you. So they're
Right.
always those, and like having to kiss someone are always so awkward because
Hmm.
they're just like in intense, uncomfortable scenes. But thankfully, and I believe I hope I get it right, but I'm pretty sure Noel was directing that day as well. And Noel is such a great director. He's so emotional. He's with you there in the scene.
Hmm.
So, when you're feeling some sort of way, he's also feeling that way behind the camera or behind the
Hmm.
screen. So it's nice having him there. So he allows you to go to get freedom, and he gets into it with you. He gets into the scene with you and helps you work through it.
Hmm.
So I was really just relying on them to sort of helped me get through it. It was also like my second week there, and I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have to perform. I have to make sure this is good. And I
Hmm.
did want to get those thoughts out of my head and make sure I can just listen
Hmm.
to, Casey. So I just focused on them really and just
Yeah.
like allowed the writing to work for itself. And then obviously, and even in my own life, I personally haven't had that sort of experience. So I had to
Hmm.
also look at stories, find some correlation to how I can relate to it, and then find a
Hmm.
real personal
Right.
oomph to myself so that when it happens to me, oh, I know why I could react this way,
Yeah.
or I know how I could react this way. I don't want to choose how I'm going to react, but as soon as I found like a couple of stories where I was like, oh, that's an injustice, and I can get behind that, and that reminds me of this in
Hmm.
my own life, and I can connect those dots, boom, we can
Yeah.
go all the way into it.
Absolutely. And it's funny because that story happened so long ago. Like it was two actors ago, like two actors before you.
Yeah.
I believe it was, oh, I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but yeah, it was
The actor
two
that
actors.
it happened to?
No, like he was the actor portraying Theo. Like it was when he got shot. It was two actors prior. It wasn't the one that we had last time 2 years ago. It was the actor before him
I
when
believe that
Theo
was
was shot.
Tyler Pettis.
Yes, that
Tyler
was it.
Pettis,
Tyler
yeah.
Pettis. Yep. And it was so like it happened a long time ago. And the fact that it was brought up now and it actually people remember it shows how powerful of a story that is.
Yeah, which was interesting as well. I didn't realize how long ago it was until
Yeah.
I actually looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, when did this happen? Was it right before I left?" And it was very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. So, this one obviously we're gonna have to leave open, kind of opened because it just recently happened briefly. It was when you and Ari ended up having a little coffee, and she was doing a little flirting and stuff like that. So, obviously, what can you tell viewers of a possible romance? Like, what can you tell us? What can you leave us with? Can we expect something, or what can we expect, or like give us that cryptic thing to want let us wanting more? It's a tough one.
Theo's love life is going to be difficult because of what he's been through.
Hmm.
You know, so you can expect like some challenges,
Hmm.
and I don't think anyone is going to know what happens
Okay.
between that part of his love life. I don't even think I know sometimes. I'll say that.
Okay,
I'll say
that
that.
that's
And
actually really
in
good.
a year, we'll talk about it and you'll know exactly what I sort of mean.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is it? It's August 9th. I mean, not August. Oh my God. It's October 9th.
Overnight.
I don't want it to be August. I love Halloween. October 9th. So we will have you back next fall and we will then just regroup with that. That'll be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. We can.
Because it's funny because Theo has been through a lot, like the whole, Sierra thing, where, she had amnesia or something along those lines. And Theo kind of took advantage of that, but he loved her.
Yeah.
And then the whole Claire thing, he was really happy with her and she cheated on him with
Mhm.
another man and he just found that out. And somebody with even if it's highly functional autism, is the fact of the matter is that it's so much emotion that is going to be so hard to process.
Yeah.
It's how like it's hard for somebody without being on the spectrum to deal with. But then when when you throw in having being on the spectrum, it really, messes up your mind. So it could like
Mhm.
who knows where this can go, and I'm really excited to see what you mean by that because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. It really is. And Gabby is a Spitfire that so if Ari got hurt in any way, shape, or form, Gabby's not going to be very happy on
Mhm,
top of
mhm,
that.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
But speaking of parents, how is it like working with James Reynolds?
Oh, it's great working with James. He's like
Icon.
he's an icon and he's like a really good teacher. Just he knows how to work the camera. He knows how to find the light and all those nice little tips you get as well. But James, he's just such a nice guy.
Nice.
He's down to earth, a good human being. He's
Right.
going to talk to you. He's always going to be nice, always going to hold the door for you. He's just a true gentleman. And I
Nice.
cannot say no more good things about him.
Nice.
I can't say enough good things.
I remember watching James as a kid. I was I wouldn't say a bad kid, but I was a kid that I was very good at my schooling. I was very smart. I mean, I have my master's degree, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I was the type that didn't want to go to school, even though I was good at it. So I
Yeah.
remember faking being sick the one time, and I came down. This has nothing to do with James, but I remember watching games as a kid, and
Mhm.
I was faking being sick. I came downstairs, and my mom had Days of Our Lives on TV, and I'm the first thing I remember seeing because I'm very fascinated with horror movies, slasher Scotty, you know.
Uh-huh.
I saw Marlena turn into a panther when she was possessed by the devil. That was the very first thing I seen on TV. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, yeah.
I was this is 1995. I was young. I'll be 36 this year, but I was young at the time,
Mhm.
my mom was explaining the whole thing to me. I sat down and watched it. I was hooked, and I was like, "Do I have to go to school tomorrow?" And my mom's like, "Yeah, you do." So back when VHS tapes were relevant, my dad put the VHS tape in, and she'd tape every episode. I'm like, "Mom, you cannot watch it without me." So we'd watch it every day, and we did that
Oh,
ever since I went off to college. We did that. Yeah,
oh, very cool.
yeah.
Very
It's
cool.
been a long time since I've been watching. Yeah, so that was
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Another thing regarding a storyline, it's not really a storyline, it's what to expect. Because obviously, I'm assuming you film what, 9 months in advance?
A year.
A year. It's a year now. Okay,
A
so
year.
yeah,
Yeah, a
that's
year.
crazy. So you're literally what now filming Halloween next year, basically.
Yeah, we're on a little break right now, but
Okay.
I think coming back will be around Halloween.
Oh
You're,
man.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
So
weird sometimes.
yeah, so if you're filming a year ago, because yeah, right now the Halloween stuff hasn't really started yet. But I know we just got done the blackout and all that. So what can you cryptically tell the viewers? What they can expect from Theo Carver in the future to get the fans intrigued to what to look out for. What can you tell them? What can we expect from Theo coming up?
I think just like challenges of power would be a
Hmm.
good way to say it. Theo is sort of seeking more power in his life and the challenges that come with that. Because,
Okay.
we're involving possibly the DiMera family here and
Hmm.
some reason that Tony brought him back and what
Yeah.
Tony might want for him and then what other people then might want from Theo or the consequences of power and what comes with power.
Okay. And that's good because that was actually a question I had written, but I forgot to ask it. Was about that because and it's weird because
Good at that.
I had Teo on my show. Oh my God, he is such a good guy. He's a Facebook friend of mine.
Mhm.
And we geeked out over like the world like Greek architecture and all that,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it was so cool. He's such a
Yeah,
good guy.
yeah, I love Teo as well. I love
Yeah,
working with him.
and one of
Talking.
my favorite Days of Our Lives storylines was the Salem Stalker, and Teo was a huge part of that storyline. And
Mm,
that was I made a point to talk about that, and I can't wait to see where this comes with you and Teo because obviously Teo promised Gabby, oh not Teo, but Tony promised
mhm.
Gabby that she would be CEO of DiMera, but then now you have Theo being brought in by Tony, so where is this gonna go? And that's kind of where we're gonna see, is Gabby gonna get the boot and she was just the pawn,
Mhm.
in Tony's chess game here to get DiMera back. And it's gonna be exciting to see where you come into this because and also Theo, he has he has business experience. He ran a
Yeah,
business in South Africa.
in South Africa. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see that. So everybody can now, that is watching this can, see that Theo is it could be in power. And if he is, what is the struggles? What are the challenges? And
Hmm.
and I'm assuming you're still filming at Days, so I can't wait to see what you bring to the table. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's gonna be
I
great.
absolutely still am.
You're
Absolutely still
you're
am.
doing an amazing job as Theo, by the way. I want to give you that props.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, I just want to have one last question. It's all about you. Do you have anything at all that you would like to promote to the listening viewing audience? Any social media, any websites, any other projects that you got going on? Anything at all? Let us know.
Gosh, not at the current moment. I really wish I did. I'm thinking about a friend, thinking about any friends I can shout out. Oh gosh. Not at the current moment. Shout out to my agent. Shout out to my parents. I
There
love
you
you.
go. Agents are the best. They really are because
Oh, they are.
they
I
help.
really have a really good agent too. Ryan Hayden. I probably don't even talk about him enough, but Ideal Talent Agency, Ryan
Hmm.
Hayden. That's a big part of why I got this job as well because he stays in constant contact with me. This man works his tail off for the people that he has there at
Hmm.
Ideal, and so does his assistant Alexandra. I mean, they are just a great team, and like I can't thank them enough,
Absolutely.
enough because they really have worked for me so much. And they are a big part of the reason why I'm even out here in Los Angeles.
Right.
Says he's helped me out so much. And my acting teacher in Philadelphia, Tony Saman. Bam.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining me. I'm so glad we can make this happen. We'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, appreciate it, Scotty. You just messaged me
Absolutely.
and I'll always be around.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. You too.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
Yep. Bye.